Welcome to the kill-death ratio, where I count all my kills and all my deaths. Today, I'm playing the Resident Evil 4 remake. Developed by Capcom and directed by Yasuhiro Ampo and Kazunori Kadui, the duo responsible for directing the incredible Resident Evil 2 remake. They had their work cut out for them with this title though. The original is one of the best games ever made, and I'm happy to say this remake is even better. They modernized the gameplay while keeping most of the game intact, including the cheesy one-liners we all hope to see return. This is one of my most anticipated games of the year and the first time covering both the original and the remake on this channel. Can 2023 Leon top 2005's kill count?
No thanks, bro.
We begin by selecting standard difficulty and make a sacrifice to Lord Capcom for a Code Veronica or Dino Crisis remake next. Nick Apostolides returns to voice the ridiculously good-looking Leon Kennedy 6 years after the events of Resident Evil 2. Leon gets picked to participate in some grueling training by the US government, which helps distract him from the PTSD Raccoon City gifted him. One of the best changes Capcom made to this game was giving Leon more characterization and making this feel like an actual sequel to the second game. Hopeful that his current assignment will turn out differently than his previous one, we cut to Leon riding in the backseat of his Spanish police escort's vehicle, staring at a photo of the president's daughter, Ashley Graham. The officers inquire about his reasoning for being out here.
To roast marshmallows. You have a strange sense of humor.
They tell me roasting anything in this region is a bad idea, as people tend to go missing around here. One of them steps out to drain the dragon, while the other offers Leon a smoke, but he prefers to vape and waves his offer away. The peeing officer hears something and stops midstream to go investigate like a big dumb idiot that's never seen a horror movie. His colleague volunteers Leon to go and look for him, and this is where we take control of our handsome protagonist and walk down this creepy path. But hey, free venison, fuck yeah! After walking a little farther, I approach a derelict house and let myself inside, where I find a toothpick and this dude just chillin'. Unlike in the original game, Leon can actually speak the local language, which doesn't help much because the homeowner mutters to himself and ignores Leon until he finds the officer's bloodied badge on the ground. Realizing he done goofed, the Ganado attacks Leon with a hatchet, only to get falcon kicked so hard his neck snaps against the wall. I only count kills I earn as the player, so that stays off the board, while I investigate the yelling coming from the basement now that I've usurped this dude as the new homeowner. I feel a rumbly in my tumbly, but seems our recently departed took cooking lessons from Marguerite Baker, so I kindly pass on that and locate the officer's dead-ass corpse in the basement. His colleague begins screaming over the radio, prompting Leon to turn around and head back, but the stairs are now blocked by the crook-necked son of a bee I just blasted with my foot. I finish him off for the first kill of the game, courtesy of my boy Marvin Brana and the knife he gifted me back in Raccoon City. I head upstairs to receive a rude welcome from the rest of the fam. Pretty pissed about him damaging my tight-ass motherfucking jacket, I slice him up and continue searching the house. On the second level is a map and photo of a bound Ashley, prompting a call to CTU to inform our contact Hunnigan and request the location of a lake she may have been taken to for fishing lessons. Before we can continue our chat, more Ganados break down the door, leaving our boy trapped.
I'll let myself out.
They stare in disbelief as I just broke their window, while I continue onwards adding a few more kills to the count. Throughout the game, we'll see Ganados reanimate with this new broken-necked version, as well as progressively worse versions of the Plaga. I'll count them as 2 separate kills, one for the basic Ganado and one for the Plaga version. I come up on the village to watch the other officer sacrifice himself to warm up the freezing Ganados. Another welcome addition to the remake is the inclusion of stealth mechanics that allow the player to approach combat situations a little bit differently. But then I alert every goddamn person to my presence by diving through the window and beginning the survival sequence that can actually be skipped entirely if you shoot the bell in the distance. I had no idea that was a thing until afterwards though.
You gotta be kidding me.
So I run into a nearby house that triggers a cutscene showing a much creepier Dr. Salvador coming my way. I claim the shotgun upstairs and do my best to avoid wasting any ammo here since all I need to do is survive. I get that kill total up to 10 before the bell tolls, signaling the villagers game night has begun.
Where's everyone going? Bingo?
We get that title card and have a brief chat with Hunnigan, who tells me to look for a windmill in order to find the lake. But first, I raid the homes of my attackers and kill their chickens for no fucking reason. I move onwards, taking out the poor Ganados that were not invited to bingo night, and meet a new enemy type that takes being a furry to a whole new level. I hear some loud banging coming from inside this cabin, so being naturally curious, I go inside and undo the work of a very patient Ganado, before roundhousing him into the great beyond. I climb down to investigate what he was trying to hide and find someone playing a solo game of Nightcrawlers. Inside the sack is Luis Serra, who has his priorities straight.
Now, say, you got a smoke? You know, those things will kill you.
Before Leon can untie him, he's thrown clear across the room by a large man who walks as if he shit himself. As he lies there unconscious, he's injected with a plaga and dreams of a man paying our boy some compliments.
Most sacred body.
We awaken to find ourselves chained up with Louise, but the rusted metal holding us in place is loosey-goosey. So while Leon begins to tug at it, Louise tells us a certain senorita has been taken to an old church nearby. Leon yanks on the chain to save Louise's life as one of those churchgoers swings a hatchet and misses, paying for his inaccuracy with a snap of the neck. Louise snatches the key to free himself and tosses it across the room to buy him a little time to escape, but he honestly didn't have to do that because Leon can't run for shit. Oh my god, will you run faster, please? We call Hunnigan and ask her to look into Louise while we head to the church.
I'm probably due for confession anyway.
I take out the 3 guards outside protecting my gear and meet the merchant, who sounds as if he's been smoking 3 packs a day since 2005.
Gun rhymes with fun for a reason, stranger.
Michael Adamthwaite does a fine job playing the character, and while it may be my nostalgia talking, I prefer the original voice for the merchant. Or maybe it's just how goddamn expensive everything is with the new one. Inflation is hitting everywhere. After loading up at the traveling storefront, I proceed through the next couple areas, unleashing a brutal beatdown of these villagers like they've never experienced, bringing them freedom from their tyranny and bumping my kill total close to 100 by capping the murder spree off with a dead Dr. Salvador. I enter the house he was protecting and make a beeline for the bathroom as I've been prairie dogging since the merchant and forcefully remove the shitter's occupant. The smell of the bomb I dropped could wake the dead, which is exactly what happens here. I locate the key I need upstairs, but this time the homeowner won't be as easily killed. He sends Leon across the room for a second time and stares deep into his dreamy eyes. But a familiar figure appears outside the window, laying claim to me and shooting Batoris Mendez's hat off. She Batmans her way to heaven while Mendez chases her like an 80s slasher villain. Before leaving the house, I let Mendez slow walk his way out while Hunnigan calls to inform me that Louise is a former Umbrella employee, instantly souring Leon's mood. We turn that frown upside down by freeing the dog from one of the traps right outside the house. The placement of this event had fans concerned the dog was killed, as its rescue happens very early on in the original game. In its place, there's a fake out moment, making us fear the worst for our canine friend. But Capcom wanted to remain faithful to the original and could not cut that out.
Take care of yourself, buddy.
Leon returns to the village, just in time to see how intensely these people take their bingo nights. The tower topples over as some bad dog owners refuse to leash their aggressive mutts and force Leon to discipline the dogs and their parents the only way he knows how. I move around the new roadblock and unlock the door, where I indiscriminately add 4 kills before finding the old church Louise recommended I check out as a tourist. Unfortunately, they're not open to visitors at this time, but Leon won't be denied and takes a side entrance that shows a photo of Ashley confirming she is locked inside the church and the only key is stowed away on the other side of the lake close by. Feeling some ammo burning a hole in my attaché case, I expel all life between me and the lake, where I watch the villagers getting rid of some evidence. Wanting to get a closer look at the lake cryptid, I take out a few more enemies and then head out for some quiet time on the water. That lasts approximately 30 seconds before this big-ass salamander tries to show off its moves and gets caught in the anchor of the boat, beginning the first boss fight of the game. This sequence is largely unchanged from the original. Leon has to use the infinite amount of harpoons to damage Del Lago while avoiding the obstructions in the lake as we're dragged behind it. After a short time, we bring down the lake monster, and thankfully no last second QTE we have to worry about, as Capcom viewed them as a dated mechanic and removed the vast majority of them from the game. Leon actually likes the QTEs though, and shows his disapproval by hacking up some blood and going to sleep.
Share in my holy blessing forever.
Leon snaps awake to ensure his arms are looking ripped as ever, and after he determines his guns are tight, he calls Hunnigan, who informs him he's been AFK for 3 hours. We resume our search for the church key, and due to Leon's power nap, it's now nighttime, making things much creepier than it ever was in the original game. One of the best decisions Capcom has made in recent memory is the creation of the RE engine. The environments they can create with it look fucking stellar, and helped elevate the horror elements of this remake that were largely absent in the original. We sit back back and try to figure out what kind of shadow puppet they're making here, but they don't even give us a chance to guess before revealing the gross new plaga. I eliminate them and head into some caves. Los Illuminados love them some keys, locking the key to the church behind a mechanism that needs other keys to unlock. Before I look for that crap, I head to the middle of the lake and pick up my favorite handgun. I spear myself a fish and traverse the lake and its surrounding areas to get everything I need to get that church key, bumping my kill total up by nearly 30 in the process. Now that I can access the church, I pray for an easy path back, but God's only gift to Leon is his insanely good looks. Otherwise, he's left to fend for himself against El Gigante. This fight is also very similar to the original one, complete with the goodest boy in all of Spain helping us out in epic fashion. After giving the giant some knife handling lessons, I take down the beast and show my appreciation to our furry friend.
Thanks, bud.
Life isn't without its irony though, as I immediately obliterate a dog right after that exchange. I head into the church and locate Ashley upstairs, who runs off upon hearing that the president sent Leon to save her. In disbelief, she ran from that gorgeous face. He follows her to a window overlooking the cemetery and a flock of ganados under the orders of Senator Palpatine's headache-inducing demands. Quickly realizing Leon is better company than the other guys, Ashley goes outside with him as he calls Hunnigan to request a chopper for pickup, and she orders us to get to the extraction point. This is arguably one of the biggest improvements on the original game. Ashley is almost never an annoyance now. I played the original a few months ago, and sometimes it seemed Ashley was running right into the arms of ganados willingly. Ella Freya was chosen as the face model, and Genevieve Buchner did a wonderful job portraying a scared 20-something tossed into this extraordinary situation. Ashley became a character I didn't give a shit about in the original to being one of the best parts of the remake.
What can I say? Dogs like me.
Now that she's saved, it's time to give her a taste of what Leon is all about. On our way to the extraction zone, Louise urges us inside this cabin as ganados come from all sides. We hide Ashley and prepare against the onslaught of enemies by reliving the good old days in the Raccoon City Police Department by putting up planks over the windows. This is one of the most intense battles from the original, and it remains that way here with a much improved partner in Louise, who took down plenty on his own. After 22 kills, Ashley randomly appears upstairs with a way out, but this time the ganados chase us instead of retreating for seemingly some unknown reason. Leon closes the gate behind us while Ashley shows Louise what he's in for if he keeps ripping those cigs. He claims it's actually due to the parasite she's infected with, and after some time she'll wind up like the people we just ran from unless we surgically remove it. Louise intends to help us but has to part ways first because he has a date with Ada Wong, whose energy is the color of the amber she demands from him, and reiterates he needs to deliver that before being escorted to safety. We cut back to Leon, who receives unfortunate news about the chopper. The pilot can't get to us because the weather is too poor. Cursing his power nap on the lake, we search for a safe place to hide until the weather passes, leaving a trail of bodies in our wake that even a blind man could track to our location. No one puts baby in the corner, but she certainly goes in lockers.
What? Okay.
While Leon finds a crank that will help us get out of the village. He's surprised by the beautiful Bella sisters and does this awesome backflip for absolutely no reason other than looking cool as fuck. He teaches them and their cranky crew a thing or two about violence before opening the path forward, where Torres Mendez makes another surprise appearance. Leon gets bitch slapped 10 feet backwards for the 4th time now and allows Ashley to get kidnapped thrice while dealing death blows to several of the ganados attempting to block our path. Eventually, I get Ashley through this short chase and destroy the bridge between us and Mendez. He gives us a very disappointed look before meandering away because he knows exactly where he's going to jump us next. Right when Leon least expects it, he gets tackled office linebacker style and falls to the floor of this barn house. Leon rolls a barrel at him and shoots it to reveal what would be the coolest boss design if it wasn't for a certain one that comes later on. This is another fight that is pretty similar to the original. After some more sick ass backflips, I sever the spine, which prompts the much shorter Mendez to use his newly acquired back arms to swing around and throw shit until he's downed by my TMP, and we confirm his death when his eyeball plops out of his face. Outside the building, Ashley don't give a crap about no backdraft and shatters the window so Leon can escape the flames. We head up the path towards the castle and leave the village behind for good when the drawbridge conveniently closes behind us and Louise tells us to meet at the courtyard for some medicine that will slow down the progress of the plaga inside of us. We get a quick lay of the land before meeting the graboid plaga and taking down their shoddy defenses stationed outside to prevent our entering of this castle. Leon knocks a little too hard on the front door and finds himself being greeted by the Castellan.
Such a pleasure to find out.
Who the hell are you?
Ramon Salazar requests he hand over Ashley in this odd, sweeping shot of Plaga Joffrey. He name drops his daddy, Lord Sadler, like that name means something to us, and expects that we'll change my mind. This time Ashley speaks up, prompting our new pint-sized nemesis to send more meat bags at us. With the way forward locked, we're forced to search the place, finding ourselves navigating the dark while ominous grunts bellow from beneath us. I locate an exiled firefly and find a promising key, but the added 12 grams of weight is simply too much for the floor to handle as Leon crashes into the dungeon and gets a whiff of the Garrador's stank-ass breath. Previously the castle's torturer, he denied his maker and had his eyes sewn shut, meaning we can utilize stealth to confuse him until I get the chance to blast the Plaga in his back. Soon after defeating him and linking back up with Ashley, we enter one of the most infamous rooms from the original game. Stopping to gather my composure for a second, I begin the battle with my rifle and utilize all of my available weapons on the castle's zealots, while also accidentally blasting Ashley with my shotgun. And yeah, I'm counting that as a kill, because Leon fucking murked her, dude. Finally, we get to the back of the room that requires Ashley's help to raise some platforms while Leon protects her. With that over, we find the courtyard, but Ashley falls into Leon, steals his knife and attempts to stab him with it, then backs up just far enough for a gate to shut between us. She regains control of herself and runs away out of fear. And when it rains, it pours, as Hunnigan becomes the second woman to leave Leon within seconds because AT&T service is garbage. I get some relaxing fishing time in before continuing my reign of terror against the Ganados. However, here is where I tally up my first death, when a Plaga yanks Leon's head clean off. The next time around, I target the red-robed asshole first and eliminate his stupid little congregation. Beyond that, Ada jumps Leon with a little skirmish that ends quickly when Leon puts a knife to her throat.
Very smooth.
She recommends I leave Ashley behind and leave this place as well so they can greet each other another time, then disappears like she tends to do. Lily Gao reprises the role of Ada Wong, previously playing her in Welcome to Raccoon City. This is her first time in the video game space and immediately got harassed by terminally online dipshits that weren't a fan of her portrayal. Unfortunately, it seems that this is a trend becoming all too common no matter what the fandom is. We spot one of these rabid Ada fans flipping out and dispatch both life forms before moving on to meet more of the same and push that kill total over 400. Suddenly, I find myself in Isengard with an Uruk-hai who learned how to pitch from Zeke Yeager. After successfully and not successfully dodging the attacks, I raise a cannon up to connect a ball to its cheek, sending him falling over the edge of the castle. Like an idiot, instead of using the cannon, I shoot the remaining zealots the old-fashioned way, then blow another door open. On my way out, the troll under the bridge sees his chance to get close to our hero, but winds up falling down again. We spot Ashley crying on one of Ramon's dusty couches, but Leon comforts her by showing her he's in the same predicament as she is.
Just give me a heads up before you stab me next time, okay?
Luis gives us a ring with bad news. Now we need to meet him elsewhere in the castle, this time in the ballroom, which requires Leon and Ashley to go through a hell of a lot of inconvenience to get there. There's plenty of puzzles to solve and even more zealots, animals, and the new and improved Armaduras to kill and add to the count. And another Ashley kill. Eventually, I add the final head to the statue, which opens one door and closes another when Leon gets caged. Ashley flees while Leon goes beast mode on their attackers. Ashley successfully runs away.
I won't run.
Wait, that's confusing. Isn't that what you just did? I pick up a light source and begin the Ashley segment that I think is wholly improved over the original. The tension is much higher in large part due to the revamped environments and creepier Armaduras that freeze when they're near fire. And it comes complete with an obscure reference to the Resident Evil 3.5 demo. Towards the end of her section, I get a little lost and pay the price for it, as these knights apparently didn't get the memo that Ashley is to be spared. I reload and realize that death could have been easily avoided if I just ran straight and up the stairs to plop the Salazar family insignia into its slot. It lets out into a balcony where Ashley finds the key to Leon's cage in the ass of one of the corpses. Before Leon has a chance to free himself, Ashley is snatched up by one of Ramon's much taller goons that brushes off his shots like nothing. We cut over to Ada having a suspicious chat with a voice that radiates sunglasses. She spots Ashley through the windows and gives our boy a lead that directs us into the nest of the Novistadors and into the 500 Kill Club. I really dig their new camouflage ability. They blend well into the environments instead of just rocking that Predator tech. After some light taunting from our little nemesis, I enter the double Garrador room, which nearly ends me, but I'm able to scrape by with a crumb of health. In the other room, we can hear Ashley screaming, prompting Leon to barge in and take an immediate L from Ramon's giant red-robed buddy. They force Ashley to drink straight motor oil and toss Leon in the nearby pit, but Leon isn't about to fall to his death. Well, not yet, anyway. Instead, he takes the lives of 5 creatures before wandering into an area that always gets my hands sweaty, unless you have that motherfucking RPG. As soon as Verdugo pops out of the ceiling, I run through one of the liquid nitrogen showers to slow him down, then turn around and shatter Ramon's executioner into tiny little pieces. If you don't cheese it like I did, Verdugo is one of the most stress-inducing moments of the game. He takes a lot of punishment and will chase you all around the cramped rooms down here like you're trapped in all the most intense parts of Alien Isolation. You know, having this parasite scramble my insides kinda sucks, but it gives me a sneak peek of our new foe, so that's a cool little perk, I guess. You know what's even cooler? Drugs. Leon takes the suppressant to buy himself some more time to save Ashley, but now Luis joins us in a major change to the remake. By this point in the original, he's killed by Sadler rather unceremoniously, but this time he's ready to fight.
You're gonna hurt yourself.
With his help, we litter the tunnels with bodies and use dynamite to litter it even more. The Urukai from earlier has a vicious headache and all that noise is making it worse, so he pulls our 2 troublemakers into his warm and humble abode to even up the fight a little bit by introducing his naked brother. After a couple minutes, the first one goes down, so we can focus on the armored one. Luis attaches some TNT to its back, allowing Leon to abuse the back plaga until it cripples the giant and I can give him the golem experience. That's only the beginning of Luis's wild ride. He convinces Leon to go on a terrifying minecart ride and forces him to exterminate the Novistadors because he hates bugs so much. Surviving that insanity with Luis has earned Leon some answers. We find out he helped the Los Illuminados infect people, so this is his way of trying to make amends. But unfortunately for Luis, it's a little too late for that when Leon's old mentor, Jack Krauser, appears, much to his dismay.
What the hell? Why?
The Krauser fight can be thanked for one of the major improvements in the remake. The addition of the parry system allows the player to deflect enemy attacks at the risk of damaging your knife. It adds another layer to the updated combat that makes Leon actually feel like a special agent. We go toe-to-toe with our former major, and after a couple minutes, Luis makes a timely save that has Krauser dipping out so we can get some alone time with our amigo.
I'm not looking good, eh, my friend? And such a loss to the ladies of the world.
He hands me a key to his laboratory and makes an unfortunate exit. Ada points me in the direction of the clock tower, where Salazar gives me some applause for reducing the size of his staff. He sends what remains after me in a fun throwback to the most over-the-top part from the original game. We still get a statue, just a much less ridiculous version of it. I earn my 3rd overall death when I fall through the rickety scaffolding up top. Once I bypass that, I watch as Ramon hands Ashley off to Krauser, and he begins his villainous monologue that Leon has zero patience for.
You talk too much.
Failed!
This causes Ramon to transform and begin the boss fight. This version of him flies around spewing vomit and spitting loogies at me. He also has a one-hit KO that I fall victim to twice, until I land the final blow with my shotgun and add Sadler's Chihuahua to the count. Leon follows Ashley's trail and spots Krauser taking her away on a boat. We find one of our own and get tricked into riding shotgun with Ada. Still salty about what happened 6 years ago, Leon gets right to the point.
Or are you just trying to use me again?
What do you think?
But his biggest mistake was thinking he'd get a straight answer from her in the first place. We spot Krauser in the distance and begin the island section. This area is easily my least favorite in the original, and while it's still my least favorite in the remake as well, it's much improved and doesn't feel like it drags on as long. Development began back in 2018 with the assistance of M2, who helped with the development of the Resident Evil 3 remake. In 2021, it was reassigned to Capcom's Division 1 team responsible for Resident Evil 2. They split the team into 3 groups, one to design the village, one heading the castle, and another one specifically for the island. Having teams hyper-focused on each area allowed them to make the changes they felt were necessary and refine the aspects they kept from the original. The biggest change is the missing U3 fight, which we'll hopefully see in a remake of the Separate Ways DLC. Now in the home of the Sadler family, who were exiled to this island from the Salazars until Ramon's bitch ass came along, we fight through the waves of soldiers ready to throw their lives away for their Plaga Daddy, while I find a completely unguarded Ashley locked behind keycard access. Needing a snack, I head into the kitchen where this iconic moment makes a return, pushing my kill total over 700. By this point, I'll be praying for more Ganados to surprise me because this part is terrifying. Like most people that experienced the original, we all wanted to see how the Regenerators will be remade, and holy fucking shit did they make these thick, jiggly boys an absolute nightmare. They're a lot faster now, so running away spikes of the anxiety as their raspy breathing is right on my tail. After several minutes of pure fear, I run away as quickly as I can with the keycard in hand. I get my wish to encounter more soldiers, but it's short-lived when I find a room that contains contains multiple regenerators ready to go if the glass is broken. In order to upgrade my keycard to open Ashley's cell, I need to obtain the wrench inside the gut of a specific regenerator. Several Ganados invade the room, nearly shitting myself to avoid releasing any more of the regenerators. I run back to Ashley and use the other suppressant on her and allow her to continue napping while Leon stands guard. Ashley wakes up to the most beautiful view ever, but time's a-wasting, so Leon contacts Ada to find the location of Luis's lab, which is towards the top of the mountain near their sanctuary. We spend the next 30 minutes casually gunning down Sadler's men. I may have let Ashley get kidnapped once, but that's no big deal. What's a bigger deal is how fucking cool the Iron Maiden transformation is. It has me running to the hills until I realize I don't need the infrared scope to end its existence. Ashley, feeling guilty about Leon doing all the heavy lifting, jumps into the wrecking ball she randomly knows how to operate. I don't get to sit back and watch her go balls to the wall and have to protect her while she demos it.
Did you see me? That was awesome.
Still riding high, she poses the idea of becoming an agent like Leon to protect the world from devastation. Leon thinks that's pretty cringe and is more interested in the amber samples John Hammond would be thrilled about.
Welcome
to Plaga. But then Osmond Sadler enters to finally meet me face to face. He reveals his Dr. Lazarus cosplay, but we're not impressed.
Tell someone who gives a shit.
Angry that his hours of hard work aren't being appreciated, he uses the plaga inside of us to control our movements. But the suppressant we gave Ashley earlier allows her just enough free will to shoot his weird white-robed assistants. Luckily for Leon, the gun jams, which is just enough of an inconvenience for Sadler to give up on this interaction and bring Ashley with him. Not to be deterred, Leon immediately goes after him, taking out a few soldiers and reading Krauser's mission plans and try-hard intimidation techniques. We enter the battleground he set up for our showdown. I know it's hard to believe, but Krauser is a shitty dude. He found a way to gain power through Los Illuminados by kidnapping Ashley so they can use her to spread the parasite to the US. Krauser then opens fire on Leon, beginning a fight that has changed just enough to make it feel fresh. We navigate his trap-laden arena until eventually we prove to the Major that bringing guns to a knife fight usually wins out. Getting all hot and bothered by Leon, he jumps up to strip down and show me how big he's gotten. He shatters the floor beneath our feet, forcing us to navigate the dark while he jumps out at us.
So that's your true power? Oh, I'd ask for a refund.
Leon's wit puts Krauser on edge, so I offer to take the edge off with a couple shots of the Magnum.
Do what you have to do. And subscribe.
Leon takes Krauser's knife and puts an end to him right there. I continue onwards and spot Ashley being escorted inside their sanctuary, but now Leon has backup as Mike the helicopter pilot is finally dispatched and assists us in taking down some soldiers. He's not able to take them all down though, as Leon has a responsibility to the kill count and bumps that over 800 while taking down the AA gun trying to shoot down my boy Mike. Just when things seem clear, Mike rolls down the ladder for Leon, only for the goddamn bugs to swarm in and take the chopper down. I kill the remaining enemies and enter another ominous corridor filled with hanging body bags that reveal hidden regenerators when looked at with the infrared scope. Out of most ammo, I wind up finishing it off with a grenade and in the next room spend 7 fucking minutes screaming while I fail to kill either regenerator until I wise up and blow their legs off to buy myself some time to escape. I take my frustration out on everything after that room until I approach Ashley only for Sadler to paralyze me. He casts the Cruciatus curse to torture Leon, but Ada claims that right for herself and distracts Sadler, giving Leon enough time to carry Ashley out of there. We endure a forced slow walking sequence that's made more interesting by Leon tripping major balls. Finally, we reach Luis's lab and put Ashley in position to have the plaga eradicated with radiation. Leon's knack for untimely naps occurs yet again, but when he wakes up, he realizes Ashley was able to return the favor, making them both plaga free. Around the lab are notes from Luis, with one photo in particular being an interesting one. This puts Luis on the team responsible for developing the alpha parasite used in Umbrella's Nemesis project. We leave the lab and add 4 more bug kills before spotting Ada tied up in an obvious trap. Leon tells Ashley to stay put, while his natural instinct to save things kicks in. He shoots Ada down and involuntarily becomes part of Sadler's tentacle fantasy, until Ada interrupts that before it goes too far. Sadler may have gotten a wee bit angry about that and shows us his true form. I personally found this fight to be somewhat annoying and maybe the only boss fight from the original game that I prefer. At one point, he sends Novistadors at me, allowing me to add 8 more kills. Finally, I defeat this phase with a shot from the Magnum and enter the short second phase that has me unloading on him until Ada tosses me the RPG I need to finish this asshole off. Seeing her chance, Ada snatches up the plaga sample and hops in a chopper and tells Leon he should get a move on before the island goes boom. Leon gathers Ashley and we begin our sprint down to the water, leaving the struggling Ganados to their fate and hopping on the jet ski courtesy of Ada Wong.
You like thrill rides?
Leon makes sure to give Ashley the ride of her life, successfully exiting the caves. We sit back and watch the fireworks while Ashley offers to get Leon assigned to her detail.
If you could use a lesson in knife safety.
The credits begin to roll, but we have a mid-credit scene teasing what's to come. Ada finds out Albert Wesker's genocidal intent with the Plaga sample she got as he stares at a screen clearly showing some references to Resident Evil 5. Not super down with his plan, she forces the pilot to change courses into the final numbers. I finished the Resident Evil 4 remake with 899 kills, falling 92 kills short of the original game's total. This time around, I separated each area's ganados into villagers, zealots, and soldiers, with villagers being the most frequently encountered enemy. It's no surprise the handgun was my most used weapon, clocking in about 34% of my kills, with the shotgun coming in second. Almost every boss was killed in a unique way, with Verdugo and Sadler being the only two to share a similar fate. I may have killed less in this entry, but I died less too, finishing with 5 deaths. That gives me a respectable kill-death ratio of 179.8. I wanted to bask in the remake's glory, finishing the game in 15 hours and 55 minutes, which gives us a kill on average every 1.06 minutes, and a death every 3 hours and 11 minutes. This remake absolutely ruled, and is an easy contender for Game of the Year for me personally. It did what a remake should do, and improved upon the foundation of what made the original game so good, while modernizing the mechanics and giving this entry its own identity. Capcom has been on a roll the last several years, and I'm excited to see what else they do with this franchise, old or new. If you liked the video, consider subscribing and checking out the other videos on the screen. I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you next time with Jedi Fallen Order. I'm King Deschain, signing off for now.